Ted, you still play the guitar, right?
But I haven't played in a while. I had back surgery in 14 and I honestly
Mm,
haven't touched it since. And
right.
honestly, the only thing I know about it is that it's tuned in an open E. That's it. I don't know the notes. I don't know anything else.
You're wonderful.
That's all I know. That's honestly all I know.
That's so funny. Yeah, I actually broke my thumb in October,
Oh no.
and I haven't broken a bone in most of my life. I just recently started breaking things. I'm like, okay, it's an age
Oh,
thing. But my thumb, I couldn't play. I haven't really played the violin since October. I just started playing in the last 3 weeks
oh
since
geez.
October. Yeah.
Not like riding a bike, you just kind of get back on
Mhm.
it. Next thing you know, you're right back where you were.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody doing tonight?
Hello, hello. I am sharing on Facebook, y'all. Hi, Chris. How are you, Christopher? It is actually Tuesday. You're in the room on the right day. Yes, yesterday, thinking it was Together Tuesday.
I did crazy, and I think I accidentally turned my video off. So I'm trying to figure out how to get my video to go back.
Is it a Zoom or your camera? Maybe.
Camera. I was trying to hit go ahead and put let it do the video, and I think I accidentally hit don't do it.
Okay.
All
Barb.
right. I am sharing to our friends on Facebook and our groups. Um, just inviting people. Hi, Melissa on the Facebook Live. She's so dedicated. She hangs out with us every week. Love her. And her little one. I think it's Damien. Is it Damien? Did I say that right? Hopefully I don't mess up his name. Here comes Sierra. Hi, everyone on the Facebook world. I guess that's what it's called nowadays. I don't know.
The metaverse.
The
Yes, that
metaverse.
is, yeah, that's it.
That's what it's called, the metaverse. How is everybody doing? If you are on Facebook Live with us, let us know. We are here with our friends, Barbara and friends. Yay!
Melissa said,
Somebody.
Damon, yes, he's sleeping next to her.
Oh,
Oh, sweet boy. All right, everybody. We are almost 5 minutes in, and we are live on Facebook recording our Zoom session. If you are seeing our posts, come join us in Zoom or on Facebook Live. So I have a few announcements, just so you guys know, after this Together Tuesday concludes, Ted is going to put our Together Tuesday live on YouTube so you can watch it for later. Sometimes Facebook eats our videos, so we're not sure if it's going to stay or not. But hopefully you guys will catch this episode because we have a special guest, Miss Barbara, and I'll introduce her in just a minute. But I have a few announcements while we get everybody settled and in to our Zoom room, our AMC Zoom room, right?
Yes.
I heard I was missed last week. Sorry, I missed Together Tuesday last week, but I
You
missed you
were.
guys. Totally missed you guys. Um, okay, so apparently it's only 107 days until our annual conference in Atlanta, Georgia,
Yes.
um, which is bonkers. And also, don't tell Michelle that because she will wig
Shh.
out that
Secret.
there's we're almost under 107 or 100 days to conference. So you guys need to register if you're coming. Don't forget to submit your photos. So your photos for the opening slideshow. This year's theme is the superhero theme. So if you are coming, bring your capes, your Superman capes, your Superwoman, or was it Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman cape. Yes. And submit any of your photos where you have either you're in costume, a superhero costume, or if you want to share your accomplishments, or any other of your awesomeness that you want to share with us, submit that. And all of that information is on our website and on our social media on how to do that. I think there's a photo Gmail. Ted, if you could pull that and put that in Facebook and on our chat for our friends. And if you have not come to our annual conference ever, and you're an adult with arthrogryposis, we have scholarship opportunities. So please take advantage of that. It is basically a full ride to conference, your registration cost, your travel, your food, everything, your Uber to the hotel venue. And this is just because of we have so many generous donors in our community, and they want to make sure that our adult community is able to experience our annual conference. So there are 3 opportunities. So one is for a resident of Canada, and then we have 2 that can be from the US or Canada. And that's the Braden Dame Scholarship. So take advantage on our website, amcsupport.org. And if you are coming to conference, there are still openings for wake surfing. So we are having an adaptive sports fun day, the first day of conference, the morning of, and this is with Kim Kolstad and her awesome group. And they are doing mountain biking?
Yeah.
And rock climbing
Yeah.
and wake surfing. And so there are tons of opportunities to get involved in adaptive sports if you are going to be there on the morning of the 3rd. Let's see, we are still looking for silent auction items, and tomorrow is wish list Wednesday. So if you want to check out our Amazon wish list, we could definitely use help with some prom accessories for the 80s prom. I think there's some tablecloths and some other stuff that we would love to have for our friends for prom. And then just as a reminder, there's also the butter braid fundraiser for those of you who are looking for ways to raise money for conference, and that information is also on our website. The symposium, if you are interested in coming to the 4th International Symposium for Arthrogryposis. It is taking place in Montreal, Canada, September 29th through October 1st. And this is going to be an excellent opportunity to smoosh with medical professionals from all over the world. So if you're interested in attending that, the information will be coming out soon. Right now, there is a call for abstracts. So if you're a medical professional and you are watching this, please message us. We have the link for you to submit your abstracts, which I have to do very soon. It's due April 8th. Okay, and the last thing that Ted wanted me to mention was to shop with us. We have a new store, shop.amcsupport.org. So if you would like some AMC swag before the official AMC Awareness Day shirt comes out, please shop with us. Buy a bracelet, buy a t-shirt. There's a lot of t-shirts on sale that we're clearancing out. So last year's shirt and the years before that are going on sale. And I think there's a free shipping code this month, end of the month. If you want to put that in chat, Ted, that would be awesome. All right, so without further ado, I don't have a drum roll, but I have a special guest. She was recently at the DuPont meeting, which was awesome, by the way. If you were at the DuPont meeting, I think everybody there had such a wonderful time. And the focus for the DuPont meeting was our adult community with arthrogryposis. And the lovely Barbara was there, Barbara Whitman, and she shared a cute little story of how she met Rainey. Rainey's amazing, and I know she's probably watching or will watch this later. But I didn't have a chance to talk to Barbara at the event because she was busy talking to another family about violin and lessons for their son. So I'm really excited to introduce Barbara and would love for her to share her life story. And then in a little bit, she's going to play for us. So also, if you have any questions, please, for Barbara, please post them in the chat or on Facebook Live. We will definitely relay them as we go along. So Barbara, take it away.
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
Hi everyone. So I have arthrogryposis, not a surprise. But my arthrogryposis is kind of a weird arthrogryposis. I don't think there's a specific form that I have because in 2009 when I went to the convention and Dr. Judith Hall was there. I cornered her when she was coming out of ladies' room, and I flipped open my pictures of me when I was a baby and was showing her how my hips were and past stuff to here, and stuff like that. And I told her my arms are affected and my hands are affected, but I have no contractures except for my finger. And she started feeling my arms like this. And I was like, yeah, that's unusual. We have a different form that we've not identified yet. So that was kind of fun. So to know that I'm that rare. I'm an identical twin. My identical twin does not have arthrogryposis, like most identical twins in our community. I'm a software engineer at Comcast. My identical twin is a chemical engineer. She makes sure things don't go boom at refineries. That's a good thing.
Nice.
She does the calculations, checks those calculations, making sure that the thing won't explode, whatever. So we both have a similar education, if you will. She went to Drexel, I went to LaSalle, which is kind of interesting as twins. You think we would have gone to the same school, but I think my sister was tired of me. I'm just kidding. She wanted to take on the hardest subject, and I was like, well, I'm going to go for software engineering. I'll be fine with that, because I knew it was going to be a wise thing. I could work with my hands and my brain. Now, talking about my hands, back when before I was 5 years old, I couldn't hold a pencil in either hand. I didn't have any kind of grip. Now, my mom noticed that my right hand was weaker than my left. And she was a violinist back in high school. And she knows with the violin that the left is more dominant, does the whole fingering on the violin. And the right hand is just the bow hand, holds the bow. So she thought, yeah, since the doctors aren't concerned about my daughter's hands, but more concerned about getting her walking, that let me sign them up for classes. So at age 5, I just started walking independently at that point. So the doctors were like, yes, we've got it. Go on now, go to school. And we started, and they didn't know what to do with me. This one teacher, because of my contracture in my first finger, I can't bend it all the way, and it's very weak. So even if I were to press a button, it's kind of useless. So how do I press on the keyboard on the violin? We call that a keyboard. How would I do that? So what they taught me to do was use my middle finger and press it down, and then use the other fingers just like normal. So in the Suzuki method, which I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the Suzuki method, it's a series of books that gets children into an advanced state. We'll get there. So book 1, which normally would take a child 3 months to 6 months to get through, took me over a year, maybe even 2. I'm not really sure. Primarily because this hand had to get strong enough to hold the bow, and this hand had to individually hit those keys or the keyboard. So that was the struggle. And then by the time I was playing fairly okay, I was 3 books behind my sister. And that is essentially 3 grades, if you think about it, because we have classes. So I was in classes with kids that were a lot younger than me. And you would think that would be frustrating for me, but really it wasn't, because I understood. I understood that, I had extra struggles, and it was, I was working on getting to the point where I enjoyed the sound I made. And I'm still working on it after 42 years I've been playing, 43 years I've been playing, minus years in between with college and jazz, all that stuff. So I went through a number of evolutions with my playing, because like your shoes and all the orthopedic stuff that we go through, you went through changes as you get older, you realize, oh, this doesn't work for me. Let me try this. I did that the same with the violin, no different. So by the time I was 15, I was getting frustrated. And by that point, usually a child goes from renting violins because you're growing to actually buying your first full-size violin. And you go to a luthier and you get to choose a violin. And it's like Hogwarts. You get to go choose your, or now Diagon Alley, you get to choose your wand. Your wand actually chooses you because it has to be a match. You have to feel it. And that's really what happens. My sister, by the end of the her time with the luthier, she was going to take home 5 violins to try for a week, whereas I was not quite full grown, but I had stopped growing. So my parents were like, "What do we do? She's not big enough to use a full-size violin." And so the luthier was like, "Hey," and he runs back out into the back room, comes out with this beautiful smaller violin, and has a neck the size of a size that I was already playing, a 3/4, but it had a full sound. As soon as I put that violin underneath my chin, I knew it had to be mine. So my parents, of course, got it for me. So that was a jump start into getting unfrustrated with the way I was playing, because I now had a very beautiful sound coming out of this beautiful big-ish violin. And so I continued on. The next time I got frustrated was when I was about 23 and I was in my first job. And at lunch, I'm just chatting and complaining about, like you do to your coworkers, you complain about your violin playing and how frustrating it is because you've hit a plateau and you can't get further with your technique. And this person I was complaining to so happened to be a friend of a person who plays at the Philadelphia Orchestra. Anybody who plays for the Philadelphia Orchestra is top notch. So she made it happen, and I met this guy, and I had a free lesson, and he was looking at the way I played and said, "What the heck are you doing with that finger? Why are you trying to use that finger?" I'm like, "That's the way they showed me how to play before. I never thought about not using that finger." So he suggested go back and relearn how to play. Like, it's easy. Physical memory is a very strong thing. We all know that from all the physical therapy we've all gone through. And so I went, and it took me a whole year, starting Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, all the way to Vivaldi, and my sound was a lot crisper because of the way I was holding it before, to be able to bend that finger and make my middle finger hit that. And it was just not a crisp sound. So my sound became more crisper. And I was very, very happy. And so now I'm a 3-fingered violinist. And so I did that for a number of years. I even found my former violin teacher and took lessons every so often just to get help with some pieces. After a while, I'm like, my bow arm is getting tired. Like, and I'm using a full-size bow, meaning my violin's not full-size, but I'm using a full-size bow. And so I decided that I was going to try playing with a smaller bow. So I got a 3/4, which is the next size down bow, and that seemed to work for a while. And I'm like, I can do better. So I got a lighter bow, one made out of carbon fiber. I'm spending a lot of money on this stuff, but it was my dream to have. I knew what kind of sound I wanted, and it was for me. It wasn't to be advanced, because I knew I was never going to become an advanced player. I just wanted to make this. I wanted to make the sound I had in my memory, or in my mind, what I knew I was capable of doing. And so happens I come across this other violinist at an event, and he and I got to talking, and he showed me a baroque bow. Now, baroque bow is what they used in the baroque times. It looks a little bit different than the regular bow, and it's shorter and smaller, and the weight of it is different. So a regular bow, if you were to put your finger in the middle of the bow and if I let go with this hand, it would balance. That's how a regular bow is. But a baroque bow, this bow, it's heavy at what we call the frog, where I put my hand, but it's really, really light as well because of the wood it's made out of. And so this bow has made all the difference. And this came into my life 2 years ago.
Mm.
So I can do things now that I have never been able to do. And I'll probably show you some of the things I've never been able to do and point them out. For instance, bouncing the bow. I was never able to bounce the bow. If you've ever seen a violinist go wee wee and make the note kind of sound weird, or even stop abruptly and then do another note immediately afterwards to make it sound cheerful. I can make my tone cheerful now.
Nice.
It's really quiet too. So these are things that I'm now working on as a violinist. Even after all these years of playing, I'm honing my sound, because I think my sound is special because it's something I've worked on for so many years.
Nice.
So let me show you what I can do. So this is the this is what they call a 7/8 violin. It's not quite a full size, and it's not quite the size below, which is what children usually use. It was made in 1860, so it's a very old violin by a guy named John Albert. This violin was made on 11th and Sampson in Philadelphia.
Nice.
So I found that out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I hope you could see all of me, even though my camera. I want you to watch my bow arm, because I'm going to talk about my wrist. Now, if you watch my wrist, see how it's bent? Like that. I never could do that before. So this is something new in the past 2 years I've been working on. So I think my sound, even when I played at the one in December for the benefit,
Mhm.
I think I sound better than I did then because
Wow.
I didn't have this bow back then. So
Awesome.
yeah, so let me play. I know I played this I want to play something not too crazy because I don't want to scare you guys. I tell myself. But this I think is in a Suzuki book, book 3, and like I said, I'm not looking to be advanced. I'm looking for the sound that I can achieve, and I'm not looking to shift all over the place and be all crazy and impress you guys that way, because that's not what I'm about right now. Right now, I'm just about the sound and making sure that every note is clear and beautiful and expressive.
Absolutely.
So thank you. That was a cute little piece that illustrated the cheerfulness of the bowing that I couldn't do a couple years ago. And I'm really happy about that. I think before I used to kind of sound like I was just sawing across the violin because I didn't have control over the bow. And that made all the difference. And my right hand is fairly weak. I only have about 30% strength. Like when you do a pinch test, I don't even register. Like
Wow.
there's nothing there. So, and you may notice that I have a little friend here. I've had him since I was 8 years old.
Oh,
But you see, I put this wrap around here. This is for my thumb, so I have it gives me a better grip. And this is my own creation, like how we all create things to make things more comfortable for us. I mean, I've been guilty of creating foot cushions for myself with holes where I need them until I went to a podiatrist and like, what are you doing? So, but yeah, I mean, I just love playing, and I get to play with my sister once in a while when she's not busy with her two girls, who also play now. We're a family of violin players. So, and I know they're everybody is more advanced than me at this point, but that's not what I do. I'm all about the sound I can make.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. So I hope that gives people something to think about when they're working on something and they can't achieve something that they think they could do better, but because they're limited in what they can do, just make it for yourself. Work on it for yourself. Because a couple years ago, my sister asked me, I mean, you were 3 books behind everybody else, like people our age in the Suzuki method. Like that must have been extremely frustrating. I'm like, not really. I never saw that as frustrating. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think it was because when I look back on it now, I think it was just because I'm doing my own thing. And
mhm.
my teacher loves me, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
Right? Right? That's
Yep.
all that matters.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love your positive attitude, Barbara, that it makes such a difference. I just
Yeah.
absolutely love that. I don't know if any questions came in, Ted, or Barbara.
Some claps, some cheering, but
Cheering.
no questions. So far,
No
so good.
questions.
Everybody's on par with everything. They just letting everybody know that they're here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. I know that it is one of the probably one of the biggest questions, Barbara, that we get in our parent groups is musical instruments and how to adapt them to, I think it starts in middle school, the recorder. And I know for a lot of AMCers, it's difficult to hold, it's difficult for the fingers. And I know for my daughter, we modified a microphone stand, and we one of the music teachers that happened to be an AMC mom told us about a recorder that had different pieces where the the holes were movable, so you were able to move them where your fingers fell. But that's pretty much the start of the introduction for most people, an instrument. So I know that for a lot of our families, that is pivotal, right? So you're in 5th grade, I believe it starts, and you're scared with this new device, and then people want to either learn from this and go and advance and try other instruments. And I think middle school, for some, there's bands and to get involved with. And so there's other instruments that our AMCers want to try out. And I know for some, there's some adaptations for like the trombone and for the
Yeah.
tuba. And so to see the strings, it's awesome to see you play, and it's beautiful. And I love your timeline, right? Because you're just doing this to make it sound beautiful, and not to be perfect at it, not to do, and I think that's the message here. We want everyone to take their time to learn and really hone their musical instrument or whatever they pick up. So I love that. I love that complete message of just taking your time to learn things.
Yeah, piano is another one that I think Joanna plays the piano. Costa, she's amazing on it, and her hands are she has contractures in the wrist, so it's really neat to watch her play. And Lauren Beller, they all play, and I play the piano a little bit. I have music theory background because of when you learn the violin, you were part of the packages you're supposed to learn about music composition and chords and stuff and things like that. So I learned how to rewrite music, rearrange music, so that I could play it on the piano because chords are hard for me. And so sometimes I find myself crossing my hands so that my stronger hand is doing the thing that it needs to do. But also, if you just if you know the chord for, this, Ted, that there's the chord, I forget what it's called, the tabular on top of the music, where they say C sharp or whatever, the chord for the piano. That's all I go by. I don't go by what the bottom line is, because I'm not able to do that. So I just do the chord. And sometimes I just play one note or whatever. And that in of itself is really cool. So if someone wants to learn how to play the piano, but they find that it's difficult, get into music theory and get into learning about the chords and learning those things, because that was really beneficial for me, because I end up rewriting music just for myself, so I can make it a little easier, especially if the music requires you to hit a lot of the black keys.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, use that music. Get away from those black keys, because those are nice. So there's that for the piano too, which I think is really cool. So
It's definitely interesting when you mentioned musical theory. I can relate to it with art theory as far as color theory, and it's like having that type of background with as an artist too. It helps in the design world, so I can relate to it in that sense. With that color theory background and the study of masters' paintings, you understand. You have a different understanding of what colors do what, and when it comes to designing, you bring that forward in your design work as I do as a professional designer. It helps, create the designs that I do to give that illusion of depth and things like that. And it's very similar with sound. Mine's visual, ours, yours is hearing. So but it's the same type of concept. And you can always tell who has that background and who doesn't, because in your case you can hear it, and then in my case you can see it. So it's definitely relatable, and it's very interesting. I mean, like I said, with the guitar stuff, I mean, I'm not even, I wouldn't even consider myself novice. I mean, literally, I tuned it to an open E because I know that I can hit like almost all of the notes that way with it. Because an open E is very general. You can play a lot of things with it, but I honestly couldn't even play a cover song. I mean, the stuff that I did with my guitar, somebody had convinced me to do a couple open mic nights in East Falls, and I did, but I wasn't playing anything anybody knew. Like I would get up there and be like, all right, guys, this is a great opportunity for y'all to start talking, having conversations amongst yourselves, because I'm about to play things that I just wrote for myself, and you guys don't know anything about this. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I play for 5 or 15 minutes or whatever it was.
I'm sure you can make a beautiful sound though.
I mean, it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I had some guys say that, my voice is good, but my guitar playing wasn't that good. I was like, that's honest. I appreciate that. Thanks. But I mean, it's interesting as a creative. It's fun to hear behind the knowledge of it, with the theories of what things are, because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's valuable. I think any child with arthrogryposis who wants to go into music and an instrument would really benefit in understanding how music is written, and understanding the chords, so that they could rearrange things just for them.
Right.
So I did that for Moonlight Sonata. I love Moonlight's not on the piano, but I
Mm.
can't play it. So I rewrote it. I did. And that's because I have the knowledge to do that.
Right.
If you can't do something, figure out another way to do it.
Mhm.
You know, it's been my method to my madness.
Nice.
So
Absolutely. That's awesome. Hey, Tyler, how are you? So Tyler is an occupational therapy student from Howard University, and she is doing her capstone with our lovely organization. I'm so excited that she's here with us today. Tyler, do you have any questions for Barbara? I know this is like right up your alley.
Right. So I don't know if I've missed it, but how have you been working on getting that movement in your wrist? I think I stepped away for a second.
no, I'm just experimenting because now that the bow is light enough,
Mhm.
I can actually, because I know what it's supposed to look like. I know what other violinists look like when they play, and I always ended up being very stiff with it, like the whole, from the elbow from here to here was one straight line always. I was never able to make it go up like this or down like this. I was always just sawing across. And now because I have the violin to set it on, I'm just experimenting. You know. And I just bought a book um about tone and violin and the bow, where because on the violin, between the bridge and the fingerboard, which is this black thing, we have the highway. This is the highway from here to here. And when you put the bow here close to the bridge, it's loud. And if you put the bow over here, it's soft. So that's something I'm learning by myself while I'm learning about my wrist. So, and I think primarily that came just from the 40 some years I've had of playing. Of I know it's supposed to be like this, and I'm just working toward it by myself. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I'm sorry again, I may have missed it. I'm so sorry. What brought you into doing violin? Was it because your family had done
Yeah.
it, or?
Well, it was because the doctors were just always just focused on my legs because I was born without hip sockets and my knees are stiff and my legs are weak in general with my hips or my hip muscles or whatever, flexor muscles, whatever they call them. So lots of surgeries, lots of, learning how to walk. I didn't really start walking independently until I was 5. So once I got independent and my mom's a teacher and we're entering school, she's like, Barbara can't hold a pencil. Like, come on, doctors. But they were just focusing on my legs. So because I didn't have any contractures or anything to operate, they were like, eh. Yeah. So and this I'm talking about, so many years ago. They probably don't do this anymore. But for instance, I'm one of the first to have the hip surgery that I have that they do now, put in all the time. I was one of the first.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm actually in the case study book, whatever you call it, for students who are learning about it, about how to do the surgery. So because of that, they never focused on my hands, but my mom, being a teacher, was very concerned about not being able to hold a pencil. And my mom once played the violin in high school herself and realized that the left hand is more dominant when playing, and my left hand was slightly stronger than my right. So she signed us up.
Okay. And did you receive or begin receiving any like occupational therapy services when it came to your hands when you were that age, or was it mainly just your mom kind of focusing on the violin and then providing those like pre-writing skills?
Yeah, that's it. No, I had lots of PT for my legs all throughout, up until I was in middle school or junior high school. So, yeah, even while I was playing the violin, I was still getting physical therapy for my legs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
I love that. So Barbara, did you growing up, I know you started at 5 years old, so was there any other activities that you participated in besides um violin? Were you involved in any sports or anything,
Not
any other
sport.
extracurricular?
Yeah, my parents signed us up for art classes
Okay.
because I guess my mom wasn't too pleased with the school's art lessons. So, and she realized that my sister and I were, we're into a lot of art. So she signed us up for art classes, and that, made me hold a pencil and, and stuff like that. So yeah. And then when I entered ninth grade, we had, now this is before the computer drove in every school,
Mhm.
type, type, type class, where we actually typed on a
Typewriters.
typewriter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the lady didn't know what to do with me, but she was like trying to get me to use all my fingers, and I'm like, you know, and so it was just really frustrating. But that was about it. I didn't have any other kind of support or anything like that. The violin was really pretty much what got me to where I needed to be. And yeah, yeah.
Typing classes. I remember those. They were like, you have to use all your fingers. I was like, I could use 3 of them. That's all you
Yeah.
get. Like, you get 3. I don't know what to tell you. The other one, you're not going to type too much. You're not going to see the. I don't know what. I mean,
Have to be fast.
yeah, I'll be fast and I might miss a letter, but you got 3 fingers, lady. That's all you get.
There's a funny picture on my Facebook page right now of from the DuPont meeting that Reedy's husband took of us while we were trying to take a group shot of our team. And she brought her new technology where you show your palm to get the photo to take.
To
I don't
count
know if it's
down, to count down to take the shot, you had to
count
show
down
your palm to get
to
it
show
to
your
start
palm.
counting down. And I was the closest one to it. And I'm like, should I turn around and do it backwards? Like, what? I can't show my palms that way. So they got shots of me and Audie like making all kinds of hand movements in front of the phone to get it to work for
I
like
told
5
you
minutes.
this is the wrong event to show your palms at for a photo. So we had a really good laugh, and the photos are hysterical. They're either on Ted's page or they're on my page. I don't know. They're on one of our pages, and
Yeah.
we look goofy, but it's funny to look back on that. Technology has evolved so much that you can now take a picture by showing the palm of your hand. But if you're an AMCer, that may not be possible. So I do have a comment from Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Nice to see you. Well, not really see you. You have the link. You should come and join us. But she says, I always explain that AMCers are here to show the world that there is no one way to do anything. And I love that message. And she also said, where there's a will, there's a way.
Away.
So love that message, Crystal. Hello, hello. Glad you're here joining, watching us. So yeah, so I love that, Barb. Do you perform anywhere publicly now, or is it just when you're invited to a fundraiser for AMCSI?
My violin teacher, because I don't go to her weekly or anything, on a routine basis, only when I'm working on something new and I'm struggling and I need her help. Um, but every so often, like when spring comes or the fall comes, I go and she invites me to come play something, and then that's when I go see her to work on something new.
Okay.
So I do perform, but it's at her house with other students who are learning, and it's a lot of fun. But I haven't played in like a huge place or anything with lots of people. When I was younger, my sister and I played with 2 other students for weddings. So, and I played for my cousin's wedding like 15 years ago. So,
Nice.
Okay, well, we'll have to come to the next conference that's closer to you, and perform for our audience. They would love that.
yeah.
I know that it's been a while since we saw you perform prior to the DuPont meeting. So
Yeah, the
yes.
benefit was so much fun. I love playing that piece, and that piece I still play every day because it's so. I
Really?
love that piece so much. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So we did have a little bit of mic issues, so I don't know if you might be able to play that piece again if you're willing, and maybe bring the microphone a little bit closer to you. Ted was thinking that might help. If not, we will see if Miss Barbara will record her playing it, and we could repost a video of her playing that piece if this microphone doesn't pick
Yeah,
up her
I can
playing.
definitely, Barbara, I can definitely, if you send it to me, I can definitely add it to the link for this if it doesn't come through.
But you can hear me now, right?
We can
I
hear you
can hear
talking.
you. Yeah, we can hear you talking. It's just when it was playing,
Sometimes,
it was a little choppy. So I'm
yeah.
going to see if maybe bringing the microphone closer to the instrument. We don't necessarily have to see you if you have to really get close. Hi, Crystal.
There it is. Okay.
Hey.
Okay, let's see.
And I'm going to put myself on mute just.
Yeah.
Was that better?
A
Sound-wise?
little, it was a little bit better, but we still had a lot of, it was like when you were doing the higher pitches, it would cut out. So we'll
Okay.
definitely have you record your
Yeah.
performance again for us, and then we'll post it online separately from our
Oh,
Zoom. Hate that. But I'm assuming that it's the mic. Your sister was right about
yeah. Yeah.
the violin on Zoom. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I was recording myself earlier just to check out the sound, and it
Mhm.
was like that what you're describing. So I could definitely record myself and send it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then we'll send out the link to our viewers so that way they can see the full version without it cutting out on Zoom. It must be definitely a Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Since your sister had mentioned that violin lessons on Zoom are not recommended. But
Yeah.
thank you for doing that. We appreciate that, and that actually helps us for future. I know that we were looking at hoping to have some of our adult or with living with arthrogryposis come and perform for us, and so that's good to know for our musicians that we either need to make sure that the microphone is proper for Zoom, or maybe even look into another platform that might be able to support music.
It's always gonna get
Yeah.
better and better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you are a musician and would like to perform for us, but know how to do it online, please let us know. We might just have them pre-record their performance, and we'll show it live on Zoom. So I'm glad that you were willing to be our test subject, Barbara.
Worries.
So, but I am so thankful for you and carving out some time for our community, and playing the violin so beautifully for us. We look forward to seeing the video. And so we are about to wrap up for the evening. So Ted, what do we have going on?
Well, we got tonight's secret word is yellow. So first person to email that in at info@amcsupport.org will get something free from our shop. We want to thank Barbara again for joining us. And we'll definitely get that recording up there because we know how beautifully you play because we heard it in DuPont and it was amazing. And we'll get that set up for everyone. And we want to remind people again, if you haven't registered, please do so. The show's coming up quick. It's gonna be here before we know it.
In 7 days.
107 days. Is there anything else that we want to
Our next meeting is Tuesday, March 26th.
next Tuesday?
So mark it on your calendar. We shall be live again. And hopefully somebody in our audience would like to be our special guest.
Absolutely.
Oh, look what
Yeah.
Crystal shared on chat.
Oh yeah, there's a link.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some different settings that I guess can be put in place for live music and singing. So that's the link.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Crystal. We will have to
Crystal,
take a look at that.
Yeah.
for that research. She always researches everything. I love her.
That's
So nice.
That's what us AMC moms do, Ani, don't you
That's
know?
right. Yes.
Stay up all hours of the night and day and find a way.
Absolutely.
Find
So
a way to
hey, we're
provide
gonna
opportunity, right?
I'm going to reach out to you because we're going to do an AMC Moms Facebook live Zoom thing. So I'm going to see if you would be my co-host since you are my partner in
You
crime.
know it. Another
we'll-
thing that I wanted, I don't know if we have time, but another thing I wanted to comment on, just in sharing like gifts, and just expression, like quite often it doesn't matter how, it's just that people getting that opportunity to share how they want to share. right? We got the opportunity to attend camp through the Jays Care Foundation. Christopher is a part of a Challenger baseball league. And so it's for all kids to come out, all abilities to participate. And they held their first camp up in Muskoka and they did a talent show night. And it just encouraged like all these kids in a safe space to just create. And like some of these kids were like didn't know how to play guitar, but they grabbed a guitar, right? And they strummed on it, and it was just so beautiful, and everybody was like cheering them on. And that's the magic and the beauty of creating, right? Is being safe and supported and loved for sharing. And then that just invokes and inspires and allows for confidence to build to push through some of those extra pieces that, you know, you can't do this and you can't do that. I don't believe in those words. So, yeah, that was just a little share.
I love that. And you
Yeah.
can, and
You
you will find
can,
a
you can do anything. Yeah,
own way.
absolutely.
You will
Absolutely.
absolutely find a way. And we
Yes.
welcome our talented little AMCers to join us as well. We'll figure out audio and microphone. But showcase your artwork or any type of instrument that you want to bang on and drive everybody else on Facebook crazy. We don't mind. We won't get copyrighted if it's an original piece.
Great.
Christopher did bottle flipping actually. So he watches, we're the day and age of like YouTubers, right? So kids love watching YouTubers of every, you know, sort. And one is like trick shots and things. These kids, and they fill up like a water bottle specifically how it needs with enough weight to counterbalance, and that's what he did, right? So it's however somebody wants to create something.
Okay, so next
Yeah.
episode will be Christopher and his
Bottle flipping. He would
Bottle
love
flipping.
to. Oh my gosh. He was
talent.
he was a little bit nervous at the beginning, and then he's like asked both Rob and I, like, Mommy, will you come up with me? Daddy, will you come up with me? And Rob went up with him.
Oh,
And like the first one that landed though, like everybody just like roared and cheered. And he was like, you could see like that switch over from like, okay, cool. Like I have no reason to be nervous. These are my people and I'm gonna be flipping, you know, and it didn't matter how many times it landed because like
Right.
everybody was there for it, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
We are here to cheer Christopher on.
Aw,
Whatever
well,
talent he brings
everyone,
to the table.
everyone. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks again, Barbara.
Yep.
We appreciate
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Look
Yeah.
forward
Safe
to
and
your
be
video
strong,
and
people.
sharing it. We love
Nice
you
to see you
guys.
too, Chris.
See you next
The big
Tuesday.
Chris.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Take
everyone.
care.
Take care.
Later, everyone. Much love.
Bye, Rob.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.